All right, hey guys, how you doing? It's Gavin here from Start Fresh Personal Training, and I've got Kelly Daly on the video call today. And the reason why I've got Kelly on this chat is simply because she's a big advocate of MyfitnessPal, just like me. I wanted a different perspective, to be honest with you, because I talk about it all the time. And there's not very few people, but lots of people don't really believe in it. They get a bit bored and get stuck with it. So I thought if I bring Kelly on, who's done really well with it, and she'll tell you all about her results shortly. You can obviously take a bit of advice from her as well, and understand, it can be a real big game changer. So thank you for coming on. It's all very exciting. So can you just introduce yourself really and say, how you found my group, basically. That's probably the start off with the first question.
Well, like Gavin said, my name's Kelly, and so basically I've been doing, this is the second time I've done MyfitnessPal in between having 2 kids, and just basically by using MyfitnessPal and Facebook and Instagram, I've just came upon like-minded people like Gavin and a few other people who also advocate MyfitnessPal, and just keeping in touch with people like that. I mean, there's always new ideas, there's always new foods out there, there's always new tricks that you can pick up, and basically, you can just never know too much. So it's always good to just, keep in with other people that are doing the same thing, and just to keep my journey going. And I'm not the only one doing this, so.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, if you look at the MyFitnessPal forums, there's hundreds of thousands of people that's doing amazingly well. It's just incredible, yeah.
Especially in America, the UK, like just all over the world, and even on those forums themselves, like there's heaps of questions and just things that you can click into, links and stuff to make it easier. And
so I just want to put it out there straight away that you're not one of my clients, okay? So we're just going to set the bar right there. So I'm, you're not one of my clients that's going to come on and just support everything I say, which is quite cool. And that's why one of the reasons I wanted you on as well, because you're just part of my little Facebook group, which is quite cool. So what I kind of want from you, I guess, is everybody has got a start point, and a kind of a backstory, why it is they got started in the first place. So you said this is the second time you've done it in between kids and stuff. So if you could just tell everybody kind of like, what was your, where did you come from? Were you always overweight, or were you not really, or how did it all work out?
Well, no, I wasn't. I always was maybe a little overweight, but a little overweight for my standard. But in the whole scheme of things, I wasn't overweight. I was always active in my job, and I was always one of those people that kind of, because I was so active in my job and exercise, I kind of just sort of ate what I want, and it just sort of worked out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So once I got pregnant, and obviously being pregnant, things become a bit more difficult. Before I was pregnant with my first son, I'd done a lot of boxing. So with the boxing, I was burning a serious amount of calories, and I wasn't doing MyFitnessPal or anything, and I became quite lean.
Yeah.
So once I fell pregnant, obviously I kept up the exercise as much as I could, but I got to the stage where I couldn't exercise really that much. So, for what I was eating and not doing the exercise, the weight started creeping on, and also with the pregnancy. So after I had my son, 9 to 10 kgs overweight. So I jumped straight back into the exercise, and again fell into the same routine, was doing that much exercise that I really didn't have to concentrate on what I was eating. But I did start using MyFitnessPal, and I sort of loosely used it here and there. I lost all my weight, no problem exercising, but as I say, I was exercising a lot, and it wasn't sustainable. So when my first son became 1, I went back to work. I had a toddler, and I wasn't able to sustain that exercise. I was eating the same, and obviously without this exercise and the food that I was eating, I started to put a bit of weight on again. So I think I put on about 5 kg of the 10 that I lost.
Yeah.
Then I got pregnant again with my second son, and wasn't doing any exercise. Ended up putting about 20 kg
Oh,
on, and I knew this time going back into it that I wasn't going to be able to do that exercise and sustain it. So I had to find another way, and this time I decided to fully concentrate on my nutrition, and
yeah.
that's where I went into MyFitnessPal, and I just really concentrated on that.
Oh, good on you. So with regard to your exercise and stuff, what when you said you were excessively exercising, what were you doing exercise wise? Was it just all boxing training or?
Yeah, it was flat out cardio boxing, maybe about 4 times a week for about an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot.
So I really enjoyed it. So although it was a lot of exercise, because I enjoyed it, it was easy.
Mm.
But when I went back to work and then with a toddler, it just was not sustainable at all.
Yeah, no, well, you know exactly. As soon as you got kids in the picture, it becomes very difficult, doesn't it? You know, busy families and stuff. So,
Yeah,
so I guess
everything
in
is. Hmm.
yeah, exactly right. So I was going to say, so when so you're actually not a rare thing, but some people kind of don't realize that they put weight on either. If they do, they don't generally sort of want to make a change or decide to. So what was the point? Why did you think, right, I'm done, I need to sort something out? What was it for you?
Well, putting on 20 kgs is a lot of weight.
Mm,
So, and when I was pregnant and I wasn't able to move, I just felt really horrible. And then after my son was born, you know, none of my clothes fitted me.
yeah,
I wasn't able to put the time into exercise, and I just really felt horrible. And I just yeah decided and made a promise to myself that that was it. I was going to change it, and I just wasn't going to go back and be that unhappy person.
yeah, no, good on you. That's a big thing. Like for me, because I was really overweight, and one of the biggest things, even now when I don't feel like doing stuff, is that I just don't ever be fat again. That's probably the biggest thing for me. Um,
Yeah,
and it's just not a
yeah.
nice feeling. Yeah. All right. So moving on to MyFitnessPal. Okay. So, why MyFitnessPal over all the other solutions out there? What drew you to MyFitnessPal?
I honestly do not know how I found MyFitnessPal, but as I said, the first time around, I sort of started using it. Are you still there?
Yeah. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, so basically, I can't remember how I found it. I think that MyFitnessPal was one of the first ones out. It was like, um, I think there's a few of them out now, but MyFitnessPal at that time was the main one out. And yeah, I
Oh,
just started using it loosely. But second time round, again from following yourself and different people on Facebook, it is definitely the main app when it comes to counting calories. And because it's the main app, it's the one app that has, generally everything that you buy in the supermarket,
yeah,
in its menu. So, being from the UK and also living in Australia, I have a lot of friends over there who are all on MyFitnessPal as well. And we're also sort of able to talk and bounce ideas off each other all through using MyFitnessPal and becoming friends on MyFitnessPal.
yeah,
And it's initially I can see how people will struggle with it, but I think knowledge is key, and especially in MyFitnessPal, with most people eat the same 15 to 20 meals during the week,
yeah,
you know, snacks wise, lunch wise. Once you build that menu up in MyFitnessPal, yes, it'll take a couple of weeks of trying to build it up, but once it's in there, MyFitnessPal remembers it, and you don't have to sit for an hour a day putting in your food. It literally, like I would say, maybe the first 4 or 5 months, it was taking me 10, 15 minutes a night to put my food in for the next day. Now I can do it in a flash, just like that.
yeah.
I know what's in the fridge. I know, I'm the one that does the shopping, so I can lie in bed at night. Yep, most of my stuff's in the menu, 10 minutes, and it's done for the next day.
Yeah, 100%, completely agree. It took me a little while to get
Yeah,
it moving, but and as you said, that's really cool. There's actually studies to show that people generally eat the same 20 to 30 foods, good or bad,
yeah,
regardless. And when you're starting to make a bit of a change, all you need to do is change a couple of things, and you're pretty much good to go. And
yeah.
then it becomes a calorie game. Yeah,
The easiest, another thing with MyFitnessPal is a lot of people jump into MyFitnessPal with these fancy diet recipes that have, maybe 10 ingredients. And if you're going to start out like that, you are going to fail within the first couple of days. You need to keep it simple. You need to just take it back for a couple of weeks. Keep it simple. Stick to meals that may have maybe 2 or 3 ingredients. And then as you start to build your knowledge up, then you can start to add stuff in, and it becomes easier.
yeah. Oh, exactly right. I mean, for me, even now, my meals are fairly basic, and they're pretty much 3 or 4 ingredients. That's it. You just have a protein, carb, veggies, and a fat. Probably that's about it. And
Yeah,
I kind of like, you go back to the old how your granny used to eat, like some basic and everything else. And if you do it that way, I think we get so sort of bogged down with like the tons of ingredients to make something taste nice when it doesn't have to be. You can actually make really tasty meals with just a few ingredients as well. Um,
yeah,
which is cool.
yeah. I think people get caught up in this idea that they have to, eat a diet meal or something that's attached to a plan. You don't. You can eat exactly what you're eating now. You just need to probably cut your portions down.
Correct.
Every single night, without fail, I eat L&P Whitaker's chocolate every single night.
Yeah.
And I fit it into my day, and that's the one thing I look forward to. And it's probably the one thing that stops me from binging and just keeps me going every day. I get my treat in, I get my protein in, I get my carbs in, and yeah.
Oh, awesome to hear that, because I do a lot of stuff with shift workers as well, obviously being a shift worker. And one of the biggest questions you find is, how do you stop those 2 or 3 a.m. sort of treats and chocolates? And so, well, I just eat them, to be fair, and I just track it. And it's all good. It's only calories,
Yeah.
carbs. It's all good. Doesn't matter. Just chuck it in there.
Yeah.
So
My fitness pal journey, it's a journey where you actually start to learn a lot about yourself. So the longer you do it, you build up patterns, and you start to say to yourself, like, I know after breakfast and between lunch, I need something just to get me through, and I'll eat a couple of little chocolate breakfast biscuits. Again, in the afternoon, I just need something at around 3 or half 3, and I eat a little 90-calorie fiber brownie thing. And to me, like, that gets me through. Nighttime, I have my dinner. After my dinner, mostly always have yogurt, and then later on in the evening, I have my couple of squares of chocolate. And that's, my tummy's happy, but as well as my tummy being happy, my brain's happy.
yeah.
I've had my treats, and it doesn't feel like I'm on a diet. Chocolate, or I need crisps, or I need, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's the thing with they call it a million different things, flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, all sorts of stuff. But essentially, it's just, you can have what you want, and that people don't understand that. And what I found is with my other clients, I do really well with MyFitnessPal. They just come back and go, I just didn't realize that this had so many calories, or that had so many calories in. And once they learn about it, you're in complete control, because if you can't change something you haven't tracked or measured. It's as simple as that. You need to be able to know how much is in what.
And realistically, the only way you're going to learn is just to keep doing it. Make mistakes. Like at the start, I made heaps of mistakes. I remember I was eating, double the butter that I should have been. And then the next day I would get up and weigh myself on the scales, and I was maybe 2 or 3 pounds heavier, because the butter had just grabbed onto all that water. And it's just about learning the carbohydrates will, you'll retain water with carbohydrates. You will, if you like, I personally weigh myself every day and average it out over the week and watch it come down. And when you do MyFitnessPal, you're learning about the food, you're learning about the calories, and you're also learning about your body and how it fluctuates And yeah.
No, that's awesome. Do you a question I'll ask you? Do you actually weigh your food and stuff? Because I'm a serial weigher. I just weigh everything. I weigh all my
Yeah,
food.
much. I mean, I've been doing the second time round. I've been doing it for 36 weeks.
Yeah.
So generally, I can tell now what my chicken should look like. Same with my breakfast in the morning. And look, there's foods out there if you're in a hurry that you don't have to weigh. So if you haven't got time in the morning, you don't have to weigh 2 Weetabix and half a banana.
No.
You know what I mean? You don't have to get up and weigh 2 eggs and 2 slices of bread with a splash of milk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to weigh a tin of tuna. So, you know, you need to sort of plan it out for when you are busy. You can throw those things in that you don't actually have to weigh.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree with you. That's exactly what I do. And you know, and like what I find as well is even if you get the food entry wrong, as long as you use that same food entry all the time, it doesn't really matter because you just you know you're comparing apples to apples and apples to oranges. So what you find some people do, they weigh some stuff cooked, some stuff raw, and then the numbers are way out. So I think for me, I just whatever it is you decide to go with, just weigh it as it is before or after, and just stick with what's one thing.
Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, if I'm having something, if I'm having chicken on my own in the evening, I'll weigh it raw. But sometimes if I'm making a meal for the family with chicken in it, then I'll weigh it cooked.
Yeah.
Because obviously everyone else's is in it as well. So yeah, but you in order to do that sort of stuff, you just need to build up your confidence with MyFitnessPal. You just need to, you know, doing it for 3 or 4 days or a week is not going to, you know, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to do it 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. And as time goes on, you'll build that confidence up. You'll understand how it works and it gets easier.
Yeah, super easy. So that's obviously the really good sides of MyFitnessPal. Is there anything bad about it you don't particularly like?
Not really. I love MyFitnessPal, to be honest. Again, at the start, as I say, it takes that couple of weeks to build it up. But it works. It works. If you do it, it works. So I love it.
Oh, exactly.
It just
I
takes
agree.
that getting used to it, making those mistakes, but you just have to keep going. And I've lost 50 pounds, so
yeah, wow.
Yeah, and honestly, apart from that, I really don't have any downsides to MyFitnessPal.
No, to be honest with you, I'm exactly the same. And when I first started becoming a trainer and obviously done my nutrition coaching and stuff like that, they always advise not to count calories and stuff. And I tried to coach people on the old portion sizes, but that is so difficult because people just don't get it.
Yeah.
And I just decided to go with it. I have a confidence in my own ability to go through MyFitnessPal. It makes it easier, I think. And people get really, really fantastic results. And like I said, 50 pounds is massive. So in kilos, is that about 25 kilos, is it? Must be around there.
Yeah, it's about 23 by 23 kilos, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So
And I mean,
go on, sorry.
Oh, it's been about 36 weeks.
Wow. That's really good.
And I started off on 2,300 calories, which is a lot of food.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm funny you say that. When I give my clients stuff calorie numbers, I'll give them really high calories to start with, and people just look at me as if I'm crazy. And the reason why I do that is because you need to be able to diet on as many calories as you can and still lose weight. Yeah. Because if you drop it down, I see it all the time. People who drop it down to 1,000 calories, they get stuck, and then you just can't cut any more calories from your diet. Where's it going to come from? You'll be starving,
and you can't sustain it. Yeah. No. Yeah. I started off in 2,300 and I lost most of my weight on 1,800 calories.
Yeah.
And then I sort of got stuck around 167 pounds. And then I dropped down to 1,600. It wasn't, it was moving, but it was slow, but it was too slow for me. So I took it down to 1,500 because I knew I could do it. And because I have that much experience now with MyFitnessPal, I know how to get the most out of that 1,500 calories, and I can eat for 1,500 calories.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. You can eat a lot, can't you? You know, I always say it's not necessarily about cutting food
And
out.
that
Yeah, sorry, go on. I think it cut out a bit then. Go on.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and again, it just comes down to just experience and just keeping going with it and just learning as you go along.
Yeah, that's really cool. So are you exercising at the moment as well, or?
No, I have not exercised since Christmas. So MyfitnessPal works without exercise. And it's not that I advocate not to exercise. I'm just at a stage at the minute. I've got 2 young boys. I'm working full time. It's winter, and just at the minute I can't do it. So I'm just 100% concentrating on my food. It's working, but come summertime when my youngest gets a little bit older, that'll change and I can incorporate exercise back into it, which again is a benefit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, I mean, you know, and when you do exercise, you can then afford to eat a little bit more. You know, gives you a bit more room to move, doesn't it? And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. So yeah, it just basically comes down to that deficiency. And if you're just, exercise, as great as it is, and I advise anybody to exercise, you can still do this without exercise.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, you look
at it really does boil down to food.
Yeah. Oh, it does. I mean, you look at like obviously I'm a personal trainer, so I do advocate exercise, and I always say that exercise has a ton more other benefits than weight loss.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
definitely.
That's what you got to look at, because you know, like today I went to the gym today and I burned about 300 calories off in the gym. It's nothing. That's 300 calories is nothing. It's just like 3 hobnobs or something like that. You know, that's all it's going to be. It doesn't really make a difference. I mean, obviously, you know, you look at the metabolic side of it afterwards, but it's not much. I mean, even, you know, when you're burning calories with more muscle, it's only 50 or 60 a day. It's not huge. You know, getting a handle on what you do outside the gym, I think, is far more beneficial, which is awesome. It's pretty cool. So
but also, like, I invested in one of those watches that tracks your NEAT basically and your steps every day, and that sort of gives you an idea of what you are doing if you're not exercising. And if you do get to the point where you can't cut your food down anymore, you know, you can use those kind of things to increase your NEAT, which makes a difference as well.
Yeah, because I wear a Fitbit as well, and I kind of use them both. There's a little bit of a disconnect though between Fitbit and MyFitnessPal, but you know, as you track over time, you can obviously see the difference.
I think we've maybe froze, have we?
Oh, you're still there, I think. Yeah. Did you catch?
Yeah.
Did you catch what I said last about Fitbit?
No, I don't. No.
So I said I wear a Fitbit, and you can basically see the difference. There's a bit of a disconnect between them both, but you can kind of work it out in between. They're not accurate. So just quickly then, you mentioned NEAT. So a lot of people wouldn't know what NEAT is. That's quite a kind of a specially-ish term. You want to talk us through NEAT?
So NEAT is basically what you burn basically just to do your normal everyday activities. So for me just to get up, do my normal everyday stuff, breathe, move around, I should be burning a certain amount of calories. I'm not really sure actually how to explain it. Maybe you could explain it a bit better.
Pretty much bang on. So NEAT just stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's very exciting, but it just means that it's the all the activity you do outside of exercise is how many calories you burn outside of exercise, which is that what you just said. So moving around, breathing, just doing day-to-day activities, picking the kids up, walking around, and that'll give you your sort of calorie set point. And obviously, if you exercise, you can add that on afterwards. Yeah.
Or you can increase your NEAT by just moving a bit more. You know, adding a few extra 1,000 steps onto your Fitbit, and obviously then that counts into burn a bit more calories, which again then eats into your deficiency.
Yeah, exactly right. So basically, everything we talk about now is literally, and you can dress it up all you want. It's calories in, calories out, isn't it? It is
Definitely. Without a doubt. Yeah.
And there was I speak to people all the time. They'll want to go keto, or they want to do low carb and stuff like that. And it's crazy because they can't maintain it. And as you said a little bit earlier on, is that you hold water by eating carbohydrates, because you need carbs need water to metabolize it, which is fine. So the initial weight they lose is water, not actually body fat. And that's a real big thing. But if you just literally, and all those diets, all they do, the methods and principles of cutting calories out, that's all they do.
Yeah, that's it. They're just a fancy way of cutting calories, and they're just a miserable way of cutting calories, because keto, you can't eat bread, you can't have alcohol, you can't have no sugar. You have one bite of sugar and it automatically takes you out of ketosis.
Correct.
So it's not really a very happy way to live. Low carb, you're going to be starving. So if it all boils down to calories in versus calories out, well, you may as well have your ice cream at night, or your chocolate, or whatever it is that keeps you going.
Yeah. Oh, exactly right. I mean, there are other people, let's say, who've got like metabolic disorders, thyroid and things like that. But even so, it's going to be slow for those people, but it's still calories in, calories out. Because if you didn't feed them anything, they'd lose weight. Do you know what I mean? So, it always comes down. So they may be a little bit slower. There may be little nuances, and it may not be as fast for some as it is for others. But ultimately, it is, calorie deficit all day long, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much wrapping up, to be honest. It was awesome. What's your top tip you got for anybody else kind of like either struggling or wanting to jump on MyFitnessPal, not sure? Any one tip that you could give to everybody?
Persistence, consistency, and patience.
Done. Perfect.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it right there.
Yeah, and I would say one more thing as well on top of that is that you need to have a reason for it as well. You can't just, I want to lose a bit of weight. Why not? You need to have a legitimate reason for, wanting to do it in the first place. But absolutely. Yeah. This persistence and consistency are key with everything, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely is. I've learned a lot in MyFitnessPal, doing MyFitnessPal with consistency and patience, and I've taken it out and applied it to other areas of my life because it works.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some life lessons thrown in as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, look, I think we've pretty much done now. So it was really cool to have you on. It's really, really good to see your perspective, because I agree with everything you say. And I'm sure a lot of people will kind of like, look at it and go, actually, I might be able to do this now. I mean, 50 pounds is massive.
Yeah, anybody can do it. If I can do it, and my son was a month old when I started.
Wow.
So, you just need to put a bit of effort into it, and you can do it. It's not hard.
That's right. And you can still have some chocolate, and you can still enjoy a glass of wine, and it's all good, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Right. So that's us done. So obviously, thanks for coming on. That was brilliant. And I'm sure everyone will really appreciate it.
Thanks very much for having me.
Good stuff.